And just like that, we're back again with another update on XRP. Shout out to you guys, for showing tremendous amount of love. Let's waste no more time and take a look at what's happening right now. So Monday started off on a really positive note. You're still seeing double-digit gainers across the market, as we can see across the board. But just a continuous reminder, if you're looking at it over the last 1 week and over the last 1 month, I wouldn't even say the last 1 month, I would say the last 2.5 to 3 weeks, we are seeing tremendous amount of excitement coming towards the altcoin market. And as far as XRP is concerned, we're looking at about a 72.2% increase. So let's not forget that when we are analyzing, the prices of these assets. Looking at the price of XRP, $3.55, up to 3.2% in Bitcoin comparative. Market valuation still sitting at about 210.5 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at about $8.4 billion. But before we get into it any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So shout out to Smoke. Smoke says, remember, XRP outperformed Bitcoin and Ethereum in 2017. We obviously need to keep the valuation aspect in mind. But yeah, we did see even a time where XRP was ranked as the second largest coin in the crypto markets. Is that about to happen this time around as well? If you're looking at the valuation differences, it's not as big as a lot of people might think. 210, Ethereum is sitting at about $454 billion. Obviously, I shouldn't say there's not a big difference, but in a grand scheme of things, the amount of inflows that we're seeing for an asset that doesn't even have, its own ETF, ETF opens the floodgates, of course, the institutional interest that wants to come in, and obviously retail even, it just changes the game. And imagine what happens to XRP once you see that type of capital flowing in, and I think it's inevitable that, we see XRP getting that ETF approved. It's not, a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And obviously with the regulatory clarity that's coming towards the crypto industry, I think, it's just all, making sense. It's just a matter of time once we see that. But XRP is really shocking a lot of people. Speaking about shocking a lot of people, look at Google searches for altcoin just hit their highest level since 2021. Yes, you've heard that correct, guys. Since 2021, we've hit that much searches coming in for altcoins. And again, you shouldn't really be surprised. Retail tends to focus when market is heating up, and people that are the winners, in my personal opinion, are the ones that were accumulating prior to this major green move that we're seeing across the board. And that is the people that were here watching these updates, accumulating while there was quite a bit of uncertainty across the board. Those are the real winners. But it is normal. You do tend to see a lot of interest kicking in once you see the market heating up, and that's exactly what we're seeing happening. And this itself tells you that we are definitely in an altcoin season. Specifically, I think it is starting to heat up. So look, SEC Chair Paul Atkins says it's encouraging to see public companies adopt Bitcoin and crypto as treasury reserve assets. We know three big named companies that have publicly came and stated that they are wanting to actually create an XRP reserve, which again I think is going to become a norm as we go into the future. And you could really see Paul Atkins even stating that, and it's definitely encouraging. And you see other companies looking into this as well. When you see competitors doing that, and when you have seen these specific companies announce this, their stock actually performed quite well. So I think this is going to become a norm as we go into the future, based off of my personal opinion. But do let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. But let's actually watch this video right here and see what Mike, who is the manager director at Charles Schwab, has to say. So let's watch this and come back to it.
With the stablecoins bill. And then the second bill, the Clarity Act, which would make a regulatory structure for crypto more broadly than just stablecoins, that passed the House. That now has to go to the Senate, which expects to work on it this fall. And that would clarify, again, who's in charge. It would give a lot of the responsibility to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, with some secondary responsibility to the SEC. And again, I think if that bill gets passed, I think that will also help boost investor confidence.
So as you can tell, Mike says that with the Clarity Act being approved, it's going to bring in a lot of regulatory clarity and bring in more confidence from investors. And that is not just within stablecoin, but as a market in general. Like the overall market's going to bring more investors confidence. And that is the main importance, of course, for regulatory clarity for major institutions and even regular day-to-day investors to really feel, the confidence to get into and this market. So you can really see that we are seeing big things happening, and we don't really want to be ignoring that. But to be quite frank with you, this was really in front of us even before the month of July. Second half of the year has started off on a really, really positive note. But I want you guys to realize this was all right in front of us prior to all the excitement that we're seeing right now. But look at this, breaking XRP surpasses McDonald's in market cap, becoming more valuable than the global fast food giant. And when you put that into perspective, you really understand how big of a deal this really is. When you compare to McDonald's, you can go around the globe. You can literally go on a drive and you'll see McDonald's, especially here in North America and even worldwide. McDonald's is such a known, fast food chain. It's such a major, global entity, and you're seeing XRP's valuation higher than McDonald's. When you put it into that perspective, you really understand how far this has come. And tokenized RWAs on XRP Ledger jumped 2,260% from 5 million in January to over to 118 million today. Of course, as you know, tokenization is being discussed at a record level. And remember, the XRP Ledger is that one-stop shop. And as institutions get that clarity and want to tokenize, I think they are going to be attracted towards that one-stop shop. And obviously, the importance of Ripple wanting to have that regulatory clarity and the compliance aspect to it. But look at this, big day tomorrow on July 22nd. The White House releases its first ever crypto policy report under Executive Order 14178. This could reshape U.S. crypto regulation and define government priorities on digital assets and blockchain. But now let's take a look at the price. You're looking at the dominance seeing a free fall, literally a free fall at this point. And of course, with the way dominance is going, it makes sense why we're seeing so much excitement within the altcoins. And this is something I've been talking to you guys about since every single update we've recorded on this channel. So it's not a surprise to anyone on the Crypto ZX channel. If you're looking at BTC, Bitcoin did see a little bit of a minor pullback, as you can see for yourself. Bitcoin was sitting at $120,000 almost yesterday, but since then we have seen a little bit of a retracement, but yet you're still seeing the dominance showing weakness, which means money is not leaving the crypto space. I want you guys to realize that when Bitcoin goes down and dominance still does not go towards the upside, money isn't leaving the crypto space, it's staying in the crypto space, but it's flowing into altcoins. And we can really see that when we look at the way altcoins have performed. But if you're looking at XRP ranging really nicely, we are about to see the daily candle close happening in the next 2 hours. And it looks like we're about to close around the $2.55. Totally okay, in my opinion. We did come very, very close towards our yearly high, which was just a few hours back, but we did see a retracement due to BTC seeing a retracement, but it's inevitable. As I've stated to you guys before in my last night update, I am expecting a new all-time high, the unofficial all-time high, which a lot of people are looking forward to. I think that is going to be, met this week, in my honest opinion. But again, this is just my own personal opinion. Only time is going to tell. But with the way things are holding, it's just a matter of time. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? We'll see you later. We're in Crypto ZX, and peace out.